3 bags full. I'm going to read a few pages of chapter 1. There's Willow enjoying her snacks. And here we go. A sheep detective story. So I think I should do all the sheep that are in this. Like introduce them all. Maudie has a very good sense of smell and is proud of it. Sir Richfield, the lead ram, not as young as he used to be, rather hard of hearing and has a poor memory, but his eyes are still good. Miss Maple, the cleverest sheep in the flock, maybe the cleverest sheep in Glenkill, quite possibly the cleverest sheep in the whole world. Never gives up, sometimes feels a sense of responsibility. Heather, a lively young sheep, doesn't always think because she speaks. Cloud, the woolliest sheep in the flock. Moppy the whale, the memory sheep. Once he has seen something, he never forgets. Otello, a black four-horned ram with a mysterious past. Zora, a black-faced sheep with a good head for heights, the only sheep with horns in Grey Glen's flock. Then there's Remus, a young ram. Lan, the fastest sheep. Sarah, a mother. A lamb who has seen something strange. Cordelia likes unusual words. Melmoth, Sir Richard's twin brother. Macy, a naive young sheep. The winter lamb, a difficult troublemaker. Willow, the second most silent sheep in the flock. No one minds that. So Willow, our Willow, is not the silent sheep. She is destroying her treats right now. Not a silent sheep. Gabriella's ram, a very odd sheep. And Fosco, correctly thinks himself clever. So those are all the sheep. So the trail wound here and there as a sheep had willed in the making of it. So that is, I guess, a dedication. So we're just going to read a couple pages. So Otello boldly grazes past. He was healthy yesterday, said Maudie. Her ears twitched nervously. That doesn't mean anything, pointed out Sir Richard Field, the oldest ram in the flock. He didn't die of an illness. Spades are not an illness. The shepherd was lying in the green Irish grass beside the hay barn, not far from the path through the fields. He didn't move. A single crow had settled on his woolly Norwegian sweater and was studying his internal arrangements with professional interest. Beside the crow sat a very happy rabbit. Rather further off, close to the edge of the cliff, the sheep were holding a meeting. They had kept calm that morning when they found their shepherd lying there, so unusually cold and lifeless, and were extremely proud of it. In the first flash of alarm, naturally, there have been a few frantic cries of "Who's going to bring us hay now?" and "A wolf! There's a wolf about!" Miss Maple had been quick to quail in panic. She explained that here on the greenest, richest pasture in all Ireland, only idiots would hay in midsummer anyway, and even the most sophisticated wolves didn't drive spades through the bodies of their victims, for such a tool was undoubtedly sticking out of the shepherd's insides, which were now wet with dew. Miss Maple was the cleverest sheep in all of Glenkill. Some even claimed that she was the cleverest sheep in the world, but no one could prove it. There was in fact an unusual smartest sheep in Glenkill contest, but Maple's extraordinary intelligence showed in the first fact that she did not take part in such competitions. The winner, after being crowned with a wreath of shamrock, which it was then allowed to eat, spent several days touring the pubs of the neighboring village and was constantly expected to perform the trick and had enormously won in the title, eyes streaming as it blinked through the crowds of tobacco smoke, with the customers pouring Guinness down its throat until it couldn't stand properly. Furthermore, from then on the winning sheep, Shepard held its responsible for each and every prank played out as a pasture, since the cleverest animal was always going to be the prime suspect. George Glenn would never again hold any sheep responsible for anything. He lay impaled on the ground beside the path, which his sheep wondered what to do next. They were standing on the cliffs beside the watery blue sky and the sky blue sea, where they couldn't smell the blood and they felt responsible. He wasn't a specially good shepherd, said Heather, who was still not much than a lamb and still bore George a grudge for docking her beautiful tail at the end of last winter. Exactly, said Cloud, the woolliest and most magnificent sheep ever seen. He didn't appreciate our work. Norwegian sheep do it better, he said. Norwegian sheep give more wool. He had sweaters made of foreign wool sent from Norway. It's a disgrace. What other shepherd would insult his own flock like that? Willow's just gone up. It's hailing over here, by the way. There ensued a discussion of some length between Heather, Cloud, and Moppy the whale. Moppy the whale insisted that they judged a shepherd's merit by the quality and quantity of the flocker he provided, and in this respect there was nothing whatsoever to be said against George Glenn. Finally agreed that a good shepherd was one who never docked lamb's tails, didn't keep a sheepdog, provided a good flocker and plenty of it, particularly bread and sugar, but healthy things too, like green stuff, concentrated feed, and who clothed himself entirely in the products of his wool flock. For instance, an all-in-one suit made of sheep's wool, which would look really good, almost as if the sheep himself. Of course, it was obvious to them that no such perfect being was to be found anywhere in the world, but it was a nice idea all the same. They sighed a little and were about to scatter, pleased to think that they had cleared up all the outstanding questions. So far, however, Miss Molly had taken no part in the discussion. Now she said, "Don't you want to know what he died of?" Sir Richfield looked at her in surprise. "He died of that spade. He wouldn't have survived it anyways. A heavy iron thing like that driven right through you. No wonder he's dead." "And where did the spade come from?" "Someone stuck it in. As far as Sir Richfield was concerned, that was the end of the matter. But Othello, the only black sheep in the flock, suddenly began taking an interest in the problem. It can only have been a human who did it, or a very large monkey." Okay, we're going to stop there, because Willow is not very interested. She's more interested in her treats, and it's hailing out here. So, chapter 1 to be continued. We're on page 4. Bye, and I think Willow wants to give out a bye. Bye. She's not interested.